Hello everybody, it's me, Madame Sensei. This is not an official video. I'm just trying to think through something, and I've actually made this video for my colleagues in Minecraft Education Ambassadors so that I can explain my thinking process and have them help me brainstorm ideas. So this has been in the making for many years, but I think I'm finally at a good point to come to fruition with it. So I've had this idea kicking around forever because I once read an article about a Mandarin teacher somewhere in Washington State, not really near me, but Mandarin teacher who decided that she was going to make an airport and her students would have to learn how to check in at the airport and buy tickets and everything. And I was like, oh my God, that is so great. I want to do that because I really love project-based learning and game-based learning. But logistically, it just wasn't solidifying in my head. We've got this really big commons area, which gets taken over by the cafeteria in the middle of the day. And for someone who doesn't walk well, I'm just trying to think about how could I put out the giant cardboard boxes, and how could I have the students walk around, and then how will I have the more proficient students help the students who are having that need more scaffolding, and I was just logistically thinking about the whole thing. How am I going to put this together? And then several years ago, I realized, oh, I'm a nerd. I play Minecraft. They've just invented Minecraft education. I wonder if I can do all my crazy ideas through that. And that's what brings me to here. So my current plan, and this is subject to change as I hash things out with my colleagues in Minecraft Education Ambassadors. Day one, what's a field trip without a map? Okay, so yes, I'm going to take my students on a field trip. It's going to feel so immersive, even though it's the blocky environment of Minecraft. I'm so excited about this. So anyway, I need a map, all right? So I looked at a lot of maps of La Tour Eiffel, and I want the maps to be entièrement en français, all in French. Okay, and I looked at this, and I looked at this. I really like this one, but kind of blurry and hard to read. So I finally just decided I'm just going to go with the tourist map that they have for La Tour Eiffel. And I just wrote in a couple extra things for the students so that they know where things are. Okay, so I just went with that because I thought it was going to be the clearest. Look, I can only photocopy on black and white, so it's got to be clear. So that's why I went with that. I already have a nice little lecture I wrote about La Tour Eiffel. Okay, it's very nicely embedded in everything in very simple language and everything. And it talks about the history of the Eiffel Tower and what you can see in the Eiffel Tower and yada, yada, yada. All right, so my thought is we've got these NPCs, right? I'm just going to take my embedded lecture after I tell it to the kids when we read it a couple times. And this is like using GLAD techniques and stuff that Bryce Hedstrom taught me in one of his classes. So I'll just take all this dialogue right here and I'll give it to NPCs posted around La Tour Eiffel. And the students will have to talk to the NPCs and interact with them. Okay, so we're going to come to that later. All right, so guided language acquisition development. They have this great idea for a pictorial information chart. And I talked about this in my playlist that talks about how I adapted the GLAD techniques for a secondary language classroom, because I don't have all the space on the walls to draw these big giant posters and then take them down and put them up again for the next class and take it down. And oh, next class is my Japanese class. They don't need the French. Take that down. Oh, next class is my Spanish class. They don't need, so I don't have enough real estate for this. So what I started doing, and I explained this in the other playlist, is I just use my smartboard and I have all these words and I just pull out the words and I just start doodling in front of the kids, and each of the kids has a giant sheet of paper. Maybe it's a butcher paper that the whole table shares, or maybe it's just one of those nice 11 by 17 giant white papers, and I just have them make their own posters because I think that the drawing is really good. So I do have a lot of ugly clothes in my classroom that we use for skits, that we use for role play and stuff. But I was thinking I was going to use this GLAD technique. So I'm going to teach my students a little origami, okay, how to make a little envelope. And then they're going to draw on the envelope that it's a suitcase, une valise. And then I've got all these words we could pull out, a dégant, and I'll draw the dégant, and I'll say, do you want gloves in your suitcase? Here's some things you can wear on your lower extremities. Oh, and I have to tell them, you can pack shorts if you want, but everyone in Paris is going to laugh at you. They're going to say, God, what a tourist. Nobody wears shorts in Paris. Okay. And then, here's choices for bags or purses. You need your ticket. So I'll just pull out all this stuff and have the students draw what they want to pack in their suitcase. Okay. I scoured the internet for a nice clear ticket with French on it, and I blotted out the information of the names and stuff. I'm going to just go, and it's going to take me a little bit of time, but I'm just going to cut and paste my students' names in each of these tickets. I'm going to print them on cardstock. I'm going to cut them out. I'm going to hand them to the students because, oh my gosh, that's going to be so fun to have your bags packed. Here's your ticket. Here's your map. Let's go to Paris. All right, so that's day 1. Day 2, we got to go to Paris. We got to get on the airplane, right? Okay, so our colleague Grigoris in the Minecraft Teachers Lounge and the Minecraft Education Ambassadors has this stunningly gorgeous airport. Oh my God. I love this airport. He's made it for, maybe he and his team have made it for English speakers. So the whole shebang is in English. How do I break it? So our friend Luke has taught me how to change the language file, and it's a bit complicated, and I haven't actually tried it yet, so I don't know if it's going to work. And then the second question is, well, maybe I don't want my students to go through. He's got this is absolutely beautiful airport, and like when you're boarding the plane, you have to make a choice of what did the stewardess say about putting on your seatbelt and all that, and you got to go put your suitcase on the conveyor belt, which is a mine cart, and it's a gorgeous game, but it's really only made for one person at a time. So what I'd really like to do is break it and make it so that my entire class can be in the airport at the same time. We could go have a snack in the snack bar at the same time. We can, wait for the plane. We can hear the announcements and everything. So I'm trying to figure out, am I going to be able to break this? And so sorry, Grigoris, because it's really gorgeous. Am I going to be able to break this and change the signs into French and make it so that all the students can come in at the same time? Or am I just going to rebuild an airport, which won't be as pretty as Grigoris's, but, I can do that. I've got a TA who's a wizard at Minecraft, and we could do that together. It's fine. So it's an airport, right? So I want to have all the red zone is for loading and unloading only. There is no stopping in the white zone. I need to have all that, right? So first I went to Speechify, and it's free, but I'd have to keep copying it in all the time. And they really, really, really want you to pay. And their French voice choices they're okay. But I'd have to pay extra if I wanted like fancy schmancy voices. Okay. So I just wound up going back to Pixay. I love Pixay. And Hugo hasn't touched Pixay in a long time because Hugo's working on Roxem. Roxem is also fun. But I went back to Pixay and I made, did I take a screenshot of it? Here we go. I made a little conversation, dans l'aéroport, and I chose 2 voices in red zone and white zone, because if you've seen Airplane, you understand that joke. Okay. And I just wrote all the sentences that I thought people would hear in the airport, check your bags before getting on the flight, and if you lose your luggage, go to the service counter and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and the flight is running late, and now boarding for flight 56, whatever. Okay, so I made a bunch of lines like that, and I just put them in Pixay, and you know what? That's going to be just fine. I'm going to have to flip back and forth out of Minecraft into Pixay to play the files, but that's okay. I think I can handle that. Okay, so my first pass for the city, and I'm going to run over 10 minutes. Sorry about this. First pass, I looked at GeoBloxers, and I really liked them. They cost money, and I was writing a grant, and I had my IT guy test out one of the demo worlds, and he cannot figure out how to open up the demo world. So I thought, before I pay money, I better figure out how to open up this demo world. And while we were banging our heads against the wall, Luc gave me this world from a la carte, and it's really good, okay? It's just the blank city of Paris, and I'd have to build the buildings myself. That's okay. I can do that. And so I was going to start with l'Arc de Triomphe, and oh, dang, look, it's kitty corner. Okay, how am I going to do this? I can do math. I can have the blocks, And also, once I got into it, it's like, oh, wait, I can go to all these Minecraft building sites and get some good schematics for l'Arc de Triomphe, but to scale, it's like 2.5 times as big as this world. Just fine. I could do the math, but I was like thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, what's the best way to do this? And Luc offhandedly said, well, why don't you just use the Eiffel Tower world? And I was like, what Eiffel Tower world? And oh my God, he gave me the most gorgeous world, and I have no idea where Luc got this from. I've got to find out so that I can give them proper credit. This world is stunning. I was not going to build my Tour Eiffel like this. I was just going to use like stone bricks and call it good, you know. Look at l'École Militaire. Oh my God, this is just this place. Oh, the Trocadero, the l'École Militaire. It's just, I'm just so flabbergasted. I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay, so remember, I've got the NPCs. I'm gonna post the NPCs around with the embedded dialogue. Okay, and the students are gonna have a book and quill and a camera, and they have to take selfies of themselves around various places depending on what we say in the. I'm just so excited about this. Okay, so I've talked way too long. Give me your thoughts, and obviously this is gonna morph and change, but I'm just thinking. I love the idea that Minecraft is so blocky, but it feels so immersive. And I think that when I surprise my students by saying, hey, I'm taking you to Paris, we got a field trip to Paris, and I load them up on the quote unquote plane, and we go to Paris, and they're just noodling around the Eiffel Tower. I just think they're going to be blown away. I'm going to have to build some kind of little restaurant that they have lunch in. I'm going to have to build a little kiosk. I think I'll take like a Totem of Undying and I'll rename it as a souvenir or something. And obviously I'm going to take some cookies and rename them as les crêpes, but this is going to be so much fun, and I'm so excited about it. And I think this is going to be a day that my students remember forever. So give me your thoughts. Thank you very much.